Today, I want to talk very clearly and plainly about our economic situation. I know things are tough right now. Families are struggling with the bills at the end of the month. Some are just a paycheck away from going into the red. Parents are worried about what the future holds for their children. Whole towns are wondering what their economic future lies, and I know that is especially true for people here in Samoa and other parts of the country. I'm here to say that it's not going to happen because you have a plan to get through these difficulties and to get through them together. It's a plan to fix the fundamental problems in our economy, to get the jobs and growth that will make our country a success in the long run, and to back the aspiration of hardworking families who want to get on in life. And my argument today is simple. If we stick to the plan and reject the false choices, we can come through this together with a stronger, more resilient, and more balanced economy. As a strong leader who cares about the wealth of its people, she is willing to make plans and work on it into actions. If we stick to the plan and work together as a team, I assure you we'll be living in a community filled with love and happiness. In the past, until now, I've seen people with no place to stay, and most are struggling on streets looking for food and shelter. Some are having problems looking for jobs, children with no sense of education. Mata is being in control of each village with unnecessary policy, the lack of opportunities for children to continue on with their education, and most importantly, the high cost of living. If we take in consideration of these things that need to be fixed, I, as a strong leader, will make sure everything will be okay for each and every one of you. I will lower the cost of living in our country by working with business leaders to lower the price of their products to an affordable price for our people. To lower the number of families with no homes, I will also make sure to utilize every empty land and areas in this country to build more houses for people without homes. The case about voting during elections and sittings in the government will be different. All people of our country will be given the freedom to vote, and not just Matai only. This will allow everyone to voice their opinion and thoughts about what must be done to better our government. I will also take in consideration the most severe problem with the lack of funds and opportunities for our children to obtain and furthering their education. I will make sure every single child will have a chance to get scholarship to help them in terms of their education and expenses. When it comes to secondary education, more than 100 million people are out of school. This is not acceptable. We have to hear their voices. We have to meet the expectations of these young people, particularly when it comes to education. Still, 57 million people are out of school. Children are our future. It's a phrase we hear often, but it is often used without a full understanding of the implications. Children are our future means that children are our priority, which is true. Right now, we have some of the lowest test scores in the entire country. Not only that, our math and science scores were around 20 points lower than the state average. That is not making children our priority. That is not securing their future or the future of this town. No one wants to move to a town or stay in a country that has, to be frank, a lousy public education system. When I was a child here, our country was actually renowned for its stellar schools, so what changed over the last 20 years? For one thing, an exorbitantly high percentage of the town's budget has been allocated to parks, recreation, and beautification. Not to say that money was wasted. We have an extraordinary gorgeous town, but pristine streets won't help our students compete at a national level when it comes time to picking a college. On top of that, we have a staff that is rife with teachers who have been offered tenure despite a long track of underperforming students. When I was in college 5 years ago, I tried and apply for a merit-based scholarship. It didn't go through, and I've been pushing ever since. I think the most valuable change we can make as a town is ensuring that our teaching staff is filled with individuals who strive for perfection rather than settling for what's merely acceptable. And what what better way to motivate our schools than to give them a more appropriate budget? More money invested in our schools means a lower student to teacher ratio, which means student will be getting the attention they need and will have a better chance of fulfilling their true potential. The office of the mayor should be held by an individual who can actually bring solutions to the change, solutions that will change the town for the better. This town needs a drastic new approach before it's too late. If we do things that the way that they've always been done, then things will remain the way that they've always been, and that at this point means a continued decline in the quality of public education. Not meeting state standards is gross negligence and completely unacceptable. Don't let it get any worse. I will not let this song go another year at the bottom of the totem pole. The decisions we make now will set the course of our economic future for to come, and while some would falter and plunge us back into the abyss, we will stick to the course. I know some people think it is being stubborn to stick to a plan, but somehow this is just about making the numbers add up, with no care whatsoever for what it means for people affected by changes we make, but nothing could be further from the truth. My motives for sticking to the plan are exactly about doing the right thing to help families and business up and down the country. Why? Because we want good public services and we won't be able to afford them if our country is weak and not working together. Because and we won't be able to do that if we're squandering billions on welfare for people who could work, because we want to help people to work and break the cycle of poverty, and we've seen that ever increasing working age welfare is not the answer, because we want to help with the cost of living. Okay, class, and that's the end of my speech, and have a happy holiday.